Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. And today, what I'm going to talk about is timelines in JIRA board, how to configure them, and what are the essential parts of timeline, and what are the key benefits of using a timeline. So, first of all, let me give you the advantages of the timeline. While working on any of the project, mostly the stakeholders love to see the holistic view of the project in terms of where did we start from, where are we standing today, and how soon can we complete the whole project. And that's where the timeline comes in, where you can define certain matrices of the timeline that are like epic, user story, and subtasks. So an epic is a functionality for a specific module, and breakdown of the APEC is transition into a user story that could be termed into using a technique that is known as invest. And I can talk about this term invest in the future videos. And I can tell you that what invest is. Invest is like integratable, negotiable, valuable, estimatable, short, and testable. That's a key parameter of a user story. And then there comes subtasks to complete that specific user story under the timeline. Okay, now coming back to timeline, how to configure that. Whenever you create a board, either it's a Scrum board or a Kanban board, if it is company managed, then the timeline would be there by default. And this should be visible above backlog. You can see that I cannot see timeline above backlog because someone might have disabled it via the settings. And by someone, I mean the only admin of that specific board. So if you want to enable the timeline back again, you could click on this three dot menu that is also known as a kebab menu and click on configure board. It'll land you on a list of the menus. And in that list of the menu, you could see timeline at the bottom of the list. And once you click on the timeline menu, you'd be able to see one toggle that is entitled as enable timeline. Once you click on it, timelines will be enabled. There is another tree toggle that is visible there, include child level issues that I can come back to later. But since I've enabled the timeline, you could see the timeline visible above a backlog of my board. I can go into the timeline. I can see all of the apex that I've created earlier. And on those apex, there is a time that I can define. So you can see there is a apex, like let's say crew is an apex. So what I can do, I can drag and drop start time and due time for that specific apex. Let me bring it like this. Okay, you can do it like this. I have scheduled the start time and end time of the epic. Now here comes the tricky part. You can configure the time for the specific epic, but you cannot configure the time for the user story, since you've seen that I can drag and drop time for my epic, but I cannot drag and drop a time for my user story. And for this, I can configure this from my timeline settings. Since you see, I don't need to go back to backlog and go to configure board. I can see a menu here that is known as configure timeline, and that will land me directly to the timeline settings. And under that, as I've said earlier, there is a toggle, tree toggle, that says include child vessel issue. I will just click on it, and it'll give me two more options, either schedule by start and due date or schedule by sprint dates. I'll select schedule by start and due dates because I want to like schedule the start and due date for the specific user story. I'll go back after this configuration to see if I am able to configure the time for my user story or not. Now you can see I have this drag and drop now for my story as well. And now I can configure time for my story. And that's how it works. There are a couple of more options that I could do. I could remove the dates. I could remove start date, I could remove due date, or I could clear both the dates. Um, that's pretty much it. But for the timeline, you could use this to give a proper view of whatever you're working on to the stakeholder or any user. And you could have a satisfactory view for yourself as well, that what needs to be done on this time and what needs to be done in the respective time. That's pretty much it from my side for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.